As night falls, Abigail rehearses ballet in an empty theater, unaware that a group of criminals is preparing to strike. The hacker disables her home's security cameras, while the sniper takes position on the roof. As Abigail leaves the theater, her driver picks her up, unaware of the tracker placed on the car. The moment they drive off, the kidnappers follow. Meanwhile, the hacker unlocks her home, and 3 criminals slip into her bedroom, hiding behind the furniture. The woman hesitates, realizing they're kidnapping a child, but the others push her to go through with it. When Abigail arrives and lies down, they strike. One man tries to pin her, but she fights back, stabbing his hand with a pencil. The second man steps in, covering Abigail's mouth as he restrains her. When the first man tries to punch her, the woman stops him, insisting they don't harm the child. She sedates Abigail, putting her to sleep. Outside, the rest of the team warns them of an approaching car. With the sniper watching the approaching car, the trio quickly bags Abigail and slips out through a window. As they cross the garden, the alarms go off, forcing them to sprint. Luckily, the getaway team arrives just in time, and they escape smoothly. During the ride, they check Abigail's pulse and blindfold her. As they approach traffic, the hacker orders a new route, prompting the driver to make a sharp turn and hide the van behind a large truck. Soon, they arrive at their destination, a secluded, abandoned mansion on the outskirts of the city. At the mansion, they meet Lambert, the man who hired them. After securing Abigail to a bed, Lambert lays down the rules. No names, no personal stories, and absolutely no messing around with each other. The job lasts 24 hours. They're tasked with watching over Abigail until her wealthy father pays the $50 million ransom. Lambert keeps the father's identity a secret, but confiscates everyone's phones to prevent tracking. Before heading out, he assigns each team member a code name, all inspired by the Rat Pack. The team kicks back with drinks, but Joey won't share her candy with Dean. He plays the know-it-all, trying to guess everyone's backstory, but flops. Joey mocks him, and the group bets on whether she can do better. With quick reads on their body language and style, she nails every guess, taking the win. Frank reveals he's a former detective. Peter's a clueless mob enforcer. Sammy, the hacker, is wealthy and in it for fun. Rickles is an ex-Marine sniper, and Dean's a sociopathic driver. Frank guesses Joey is a recovering addict. Joey then checks on Abigail, who complains her blindfold is too tight. Joey removes Abigail's blindfold and recuffs her hands in front to ease the discomfort. Seeing her cry, Joey reassures her they just want the money, sealing it with a pinky promise. Joey then mentions she has a son, and Abigail reveals their mistake. Her father doesn't care about her. As Joey leaves, Abigail apologizes for what's coming. Concerned, Joey warns Frank that Abigail's father might be dangerous. Frank brushes it off, saying she's just trying to guilt-trip Joey. But when the group is distracted, Frank quietly goes to check on Abigail himself. Frank is startled to find Abigail without her blindfold and quickly covers his face, pointing his gun until she swears she didn't see him. Pressing her, he learns her father is Christophe Lazar. Panicked, Frank rushes back to the group and announces he's leaving. Frank reveals that Abigail's father is Christophe Lazar, a ruthless crime boss. Joey and Rickles, recognizing the name, share his concern. After a heated debate, they agree to stay, hoping to get the ransom and use it to escape and start fresh somewhere far away. They decide to secure the perimeter and keep all doors shut. While checking the house, Joey follows a noise and finds it's just an open window. As she closes it, she spots an old statue of a father and child outside. Joey runs into Rickles, who awkwardly flirts and fails. He confides he doesn't trust the others, and they agree to watch each other's backs. Meanwhile, Sammy finds a TV room, but is startled by Dean, who sneaks up to prank her. Dean tries to flirt with Sammy, but she angrily kicks him out. He then finds Peter asleep and draws a crude doodle on his face. While exploring, Dean stumbles upon a dark corridor filled with old pictures, one of which eerily resembles Abigail. In the basement kitchen, a door creaks open on its own. Curious, Dean steps inside, only to be startled by a rat. As he turns to leave, an unseen force suddenly grabs his legs and drags him back. Hearing Dean's screams, Sammy rushes to the basement and finds him slumped at the table. As she approaches, his head falls, causing her to scream and vomit. The others arrive shortly after and agree Sammy couldn't have done it. In fact, It reminds them of the infamous hitman, Valdez, from Lazar's crew. Years ago, 3 top gang members were captured by the FBI. The night before their trial, they were heavily guarded on the top floor of a secure hotel. The next morning, the FBI found the gang members decapitated, their organs missing, with no possible way in or out, except the door on the 23rd floor. Growing anxious, the group rushes to check on Abigail and finds her safe in the room. Frightened of Valdez, Rickles tries to leave, but finds a barred gate behind the front door. Peter's attempt to force it triggers a security system that seals all the windows, trapping them inside. Joey realizes it's a setup, and Rickles, panicked, runs to grab his weapon, only to discover it's missing. Joey hurries to Abigail, asking if she's seen anyone else. Abigail denies it, but reveals Frank threatened her, claimed to work for her dad, and said his real name is Valdez. Joey then shares this with Rickles, and they both agree something doesn't add up. They decide to find an escape, but as Joey heads out, she hears a noise. Turning back, she sees Rickles standing awkwardly. When she checks on him, she's horrified to find him severely injured. His lifeless body collapses into her arms, and she quickly lays him down before rushing downstairs. Joey, furious, points her gun at Frank, accusing him of being Valdez and killing Rickles. Frank pulls his gun in response, claiming Abigail is manipulating Joey. He orders Peter to handle Abigail, and Peter heads to the room to kill her. Before Peter can shoot, Joey bursts in and disarms him. Sammy and Frank follow, sparking a heated argument. Meanwhile, Abigail effortlessly frees herself from the handcuffs and, with a graceful ballet move, reveals her true identity, a vampire. Abigail leaps at Peter, ready to bite, but Frank shoots her. To their shock, she quickly heals and sits up. Joey fires as well, but the bullets have no effect. Panicked, they run and lock the door behind them. The group realizes Abigail is actually Valdez. Trapped by magnetically sealed locks and thick shutters, Sammy admits she can't hack them. Tensions rise, and when Peter urges calm, Frank grabs him by the neck, threatening him to stay quiet. Frank and Joey fashion pool sticks into steaks, while Sammy hunts for garlic in the kitchen. Joey hesitates, fearing killing Abigail will anger her father. When they're ready, the trio rushes to Abigail's room, only to find it empty. Hearing music, they enter another room to find Abigail dancing with Dean's body. She feigns innocence, but when Sammy attacks, Abigail leaps on her, unaffected by the garlic. Frank's attempt to help fails, but Peter manages to grab and lift her. Abigail easily throws Peter down, grabs his cross, and uses it to make him bleed, proving crosses don't affect her. When Frank tries to stab her, she swiftly disarms him and stabs his leg. Defeated, the trio retreats downstairs, where Joey tends to their wounds. Joey reminds them the injection worked earlier, and they still have a spare. They agree to split up, with whoever finds Abigail alerting Joey via earpiece so she can use the syringe. As they search the house, Sammy ventures down a dirty corridor, startled by a swarm of bats. Sammy falls into a pool of rotting bodies, screaming as she crawls over them to escape. Meanwhile, Abigail surprises Peter, who flees in terror, locking the door behind him. Abigail breaks through the door, chasing Peter with graceful ballet moves. As he runs, Frank suddenly opens a door, knocking Peter over the railing. Abigail then turns on Frank, pushing him down the stairs and pinning him beneath her. Joey seizes the moment to inject Abigail, but Abigail knocks the syringe through a locked gate. Sammy grabs Abigail, who retaliates by biting her arm. Abigail then grabs Frank and starts flying, but Peter tackles her, forcing her to drop him. Peter pins Abigail while Joey retrieves the syringe and quickly injects the sedative. Abigail hurls threats and insults at Joey before passing out. Sammy, panicking, worries she'll turn into a vampire from the bite. Abigail soon wakes up locked in an elevator. Joey offers her freedom in exchange for a way out, but Abigail reveals she planned everything and that Lambert is working for her. Abigail knows their real names and histories. Sammy started by stealing from her wealthy parents before targeting bigger scores, while Peter was muscle for a crime family until he stole from them. Frank, once a detective, infiltrated a crime family but grew to enjoy the criminal life. Joey, a former army medic, was fired due to a drug addiction and left her son with a bad father. She became an underground doctor for criminals, but one day accidentally killed a gang member while removing a bullet. Everyone in the group has wronged Lazar or his gang, and Joey accuses Abigail of killing her dad's enemies to earn his love. Abigail didn't kill them right away because she enjoys toying with her victims. She offers to spare 2 of them if they set her free. Frank suggests killing Abigail, enraging her into changing the deal. Peter pulls his gun, but Joey and Frank warn he's being deceived. When Peter tries to free Abigail, Joey shoots him. The group leaves, except for Frank, who stays to guard. Once alone, Frank offers to free Abigail if she reveals how to escape. She tells him to pull Agatha Christie's book in the library to unlock a secret door. Frank thanks Abigail but refuses to free her. Abigail breaks the door and moves toward him. Just then, Joey arrives, breaking planks off a window to let sunlight in, burning Abigail's hand. She retreats to the shadows to heal, while Joey and Frank flee. The group gathers in the library, staying safely in the sunlight from the high window Joey opened earlier. Sammy, unharmed by the light, is relieved she won't turn. Frank pulls the book Abigail mentioned, but nothing happens. She had lied. As Frank throws a tantrum, Joey unsuccessfully tries to break the wall, anxious without her candy. She confides in Sammy that she took this job to clean up her life and planned to use the money to reunite with her son and start fresh. Hearing this word, Sammy comes up with a plan. If they find the power source, she can short out the locks. The team splits up to search the house. Suddenly, Abigail plays music and uses the bite to take control of Sammy. She transforms into a vampire and bites Peter's neck. As she feeds, Abigail speaks through her, finishing Peter off. Then, Abigail makes Sammy mimic her eerie dance. Eventually, Joey and Frank arrive, but Sammy hides her face. Sensing something's off, they grow suspicious. Sammy reveals her transformation, sending them fleeing to the library. There, Abigail, using Sammy's voice, reveals she hates the room because it's where her father turned her into a vampire. Joey grabs a tray to reflect sunlight, causing Sammy to explode. A secret door then opens, and despite suspecting a trap, Joey and Frank enter. They find the mansion's control room and discover Lambert is also a vampire. Lambert grabs Joey by the neck, explaining that Abigail turned him 2 years ago after discovering he helped Frank infiltrate the gang. She threatened his family, and now he lures her father's enemies here for her twisted games. Lambert reveals he's alerted Lazar, who's on his way. He plans to kill both Abigail and Lazar and offers to turn Frank if he'll help. Frank agrees, so Lambert knocks out Joey and bites Frank. Next, Lambert forces Frank to drink his blood as Joey wakes to see Frank's painful transformation into a vampire. Lambert orders Frank to feed on Joey, but Frank stakes him, causing Lambert to explode. Just then, Abigail attacks, but Frank overpowers her and drinks her blood. Joey seizes the moment, deactivates the security system, and grabs her phone. However, when she rushes down the secret corridor, she finds the exit locked. After Frank finishes feeding on Abigail, Joey leaves a heartfelt voicemail for her son. Frank finds her and shoves her into the library, violently smashing her against the furniture. Joey tries to fight back, but her punches are useless against him. Frank grabs Joey by the neck and throws her down, but Abigail catches her just in time. Weak, Abigail pleads for Joey's help to kill Frank, promising her freedom and a chance to see her son. As Frank approaches, the two team up to fight him, but he's far stronger than both of them combined. After Frank knocks Abigail down, he stabs Joey in the shoulder, pinning her to a pillar, then returns to Abigail, biting her as she raises her pinky, reminding Joey of their promise. Once Abigail is defeated, Frank pulls Joey off the stake, bites her neck, and throws her to the floor. When she wakes up, Frank uses his vampire powers to force Joey to attack Abigail, but Joey is faking it. She spins and pushes Frank, allowing Abigail to pounce. As they fight, Abigail reveals that Frank's powers aren't fully developed yet, so he can't control or transform Joey. While they're distracted, Joey grabs the stake, pulls Frank down, and she and Abigail team up to stab him, causing him to explode. Worried she'll transform, Joey is relieved when Abigail assures her it won't happen since Frank is dead. True to her word, Abigail lets Joey go, urging her to find her son. Suddenly, Joey feels a hand on her shoulder. It's Lazar, Abigail's father. He plans to kill Joey, but Abigail defends her, saying Joey saved her life and was there when he wasn't. Lazar, grateful, kisses Joey's hand and lets her go. Joey hurries back to the van, finds a leftover lollipop, and enjoys it as she drives away. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this.